What's up, guys? About to do some cutting, and I'm gonna make a juice. Me and my fiance, which is right here,
Hi.
like adopted a juice diet. It's not really for a diet. It's more like just general health. I guess you could consider us vegans now. We don't eat meat. Occasionally eat fish. It's not really all that often though. So this is going to be our supper, and I'm just going to cut this stuff up. It's all fresh produce. I cut it up and then stick it in the juicer, which is right there, and we juice it, and it's chock full of like phytonutrients, all kinds of antioxidants and things like that. And yes, we are getting enough protein. We are getting enough iron. Both of our degrees are heavy in nutrition, so we're both pretty versed in nutrition, and we know how to get our RDAs and stuff. So I guess I'm just going to go ahead and start cutting, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to use the Spyderco Endura 4 VG10. This is a super highly polished edge, so this will debunk the myth that polished edges have no bite if it cuts the tomato really well. Normally I use this really crappy Henkel's chef's knife, which is really dirty right now. I have this sharpened up like crazy sharp too, but I figured that would be no fun for this video. So I'm using this Endura 4. This is a fresh edge. I guess I'll just show it to you. This is a super fresh edge, hair whittling. I mean, it's super sharp, slutty sharp. So I'm going to make you hear the autofocus. And I guess I'll just go ahead and start cutting. This is a fresh pineapple that I prepared. I actually cut the pineapple, bought it whole. The way I cut, there may be better ways to do it, but this is just my way of doing things, and I think my way is pretty good. Sorry. Wanted to clean my hands off really well before I started. There's probably better ways to do it, but this is my way and it works for me. So this is what I'm going to stick with. Even though this, I guess you could technically call it a diet. Diet is a word that's often misused. People will say I'm on a diet. Everybody is on a diet because your diet is just essentially what you choose to eat. Saying you're on a diet is kind of a misuse of the word. This is not a weight loss diet. It's just more of what you would call a lifestyle change. So even though it does have weight loss benefits, I've lost a lot of fat recently. I've lost like 4 inches off my waist in 3 weeks, so that's a lot. All the while I'm keeping the muscle mass. You could tell I'm not used to cutting with this knife in the kitchen, although it's doing a good job. Normally the Spyderco Military is my go-to kitchen folder, if you would call it a kitchen folder. But even though it's flat ground, it doesn't cut all that well because it gets fairly thick fairly quickly. But this knife is fairly thin through the whole blade, so it's all good. Doing good so far. It is awkward cutting with a blade this small though. I mean, it's a lot smaller than what I'm used to. There are many different ways to dress these apples. One good way is to quarter them up like this, and all the hard part, if you just kind of stick your knife in here and go up under the hard part, you can tug up on it and it'll just kind of pop all the hard stuff out, leaving the good stuff. But I just choose to slice it out like that. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I really don't know. This video may be really boring, but people like seeing stuff being cut, so figured I would oblige. Yeah, you can juice a sweet potato raw. A lot of people don't think of that, but man, that's tough to get through with this thing. It tastes really good actually, and it sweetens up the juice a good bit. It adds a lot of sugar, but we don't get a whole lot of sugar in our diets anyway because it's mainly just fresh fruits and vegetables, so we don't mind. The big pieces you want to try and cut down for the juicer. We use a centrifugal juicer, so it can handle pretty big pieces, but you don't want to stick anything that's huge in there. Carrots, I just end the carrots, pop the ends right off, and I juice them whole. It's the best way to do it, I found. Kiwi, I juice whole. Kiwi skin is actually edible, so you can eat the whole kiwi if you so choose. The skin is actually pretty tasty. It has some hair on it that you may want to scrape off, but the kiwi itself is actually fairly tasty. String beans you can also juice. I just like to end those, take the ends right off of some of them. Most of them you can just juice whole. Celery, same thing, I just end it if they have a dirty end, which a lot of celery comes pretty dirty. Like these nasty ends right here. I want to take that off. Clean my workspace. Chelsea, could you hand me a piece of foam book paper so I can test the edge after this? I highly doubt it, so you can just set it there. Here's the acid test right here, tomato. Let's see if it slices through it. This is going to be no weight. I'm just going to do the weight of the knife, which is pretty much nothing. It's getting right through it. That's no weight at all. So polished edges have bite, but toothy edges may be a little better, but polished edges are no slouch. Like, I'm not going to be able to do that, but it slices right through it like it's nothing. If you're juicing, you want to do the soft stuff first and the hard stuff last. I don't know how many people out there are really going to juice though. Red cabbage you can just do whole. This is kind of too big of a piece, so I'm going to cut it in half. And then we'll ball it up before we juice it. And the cranberries. Cranberries you can do whole. And they're chock full of antioxidants too. Alright, so that's some kitchen cutting with the Endura 4. Let's test the edge against our evil plastic cutting board. Let's see if it ruined it. Still perfect. Which that's not really hard cutting, so I didn't expect it to really mess the edge up. Although I did contaminate my food. Anyway, Spyderco Endura 4 and a bunch of fresh fruits and vegetables. It's probably one of the most boring vids I've ever made, but oh well. It did good. A dedicated kitchen knife is much better, but this did alright. Anyway, thanks for watching guys. I'm going to juice this up and drink it, so I'll see you next time.